We are ready to begin. Welcome to our parents and students, class of 2024 that are signing on. We welcome you to this virtual orientation and kickoff for the school year 2020-2021. And we're excited that you have joined us tonight so that we can share information in this rapidly changing and evolving environment that we're operating in. And so we wanted to make sure you had the latest information and an opportunity to share any questions or concerns you may have with the leadership team of Cristo Rey Atlanta Jesuit High School. So for many of you that participated in our call back in May, you may remember the individuals that you're looking at now on the screen. If not, I will do a quick intro for them, and then we will get started. First, I have Ms. Camille Naughton, who is our school president. When you met her back in May, she was president-elect. She is now officially Madam President. Below her on the screen, you have Mr. Tony Harris, who is our principal of Cristo Rey Atlanta. And then next to him, you have Ms. Dr. Marcia Pecco, our Dean of Students. Next, you have up in the top right-hand corner, you have Mr. David O'Shea, our director of our corporate work study program. Below him, you have Ms. Anna McQuilkin, our admissions coordinator. And then you have a very important person because she keeps us all checked and balanced in our finances. You have Ms. Christy Dortz, who is our HR director and chief financial officer. And so we are just excited to have you joining us tonight. This is how the flow is going to go. And so I want to share that with you so that you can be prepared. We will go through each individual that I have introduced, will speak, share all of the pertinent information that they deem to be relevant and important in this season with you. And then after everyone has spoken, we will go into a Q&A session.
Ok, bienvenidos a todos. Estamos reuniéndonos otra vez para empezar el colegio del año 2021. Las personas que están aquí son la presidenta del colegio, que es Camille Naughton, el director del colegio, Tony Harris, la directora de estudiantes y disciplina, la doctora Pecco, el encargado director de Corporate Work Study, David O'Shea, y la persona de finanzas y HR, Ms. Deutz. Entonces, todas las personas van a hablar. Yo voy a traducir. Perdonen que mi español a veces no es muy bueno. Pero trataré eso. Todos los que están aquí van a hablar y yo voy a traducir. Y entonces al final vamos a tener preguntas y contestarle las preguntas que ustedes tienen.
Okay, so the flow, as I said, each person will speak. As they are speaking, I would ask that you jot down any questions you may have and submit them in our Q&A session. Allow each person to finish their presentation and then submit your questions, and we will address them at the end. That will help eliminate any redundancy, and we will make sure all questions are addressed. So please listen to each person's presentation fully and then submit your questions in the Q&A once they have concluded. Again, thank you for joining, and I am Ms. Esther Powers, the Director of Recruitment and Community Engagement, which encompasses admissions, and we thank you for joining.
Okay. So, después que todo el mundo hable, entonces ustedes pueden poner las preguntas en la sección que pueden typear las preguntas. Y entonces al final nosotros vamos a leer todas las preguntas y contestarlas.
Ms. Naughton.
So I will go ahead and start, and I just want to welcome all of you. I think we had a very good showing at the last Zoom call that we had, but much has changed. So we appreciate there's 146 of you who have RSVP'd for this call. So we are already very impressed with the class of 2024 and their family engagement. So we want to thank you for that.
Bienvenidos. Estamos muy contentos en la respuesta de todos los estudiantes de la clase de 2024. Tenemos 146 personas inscritas para esta sesión, así que estamos muy agradecidos de que están tratando de estar envueltos. Forgot the rest. Go ahead.
That's okay. So obviously we have made the decision to spend the first quarter in a 100% virtual scenario. That is not going to affect the academics that your child receives. Our faculty is going to spend the next 3 weeks in professional development, ensuring that your child gets the very best academic instruction that they possibly can.
Okay, so el colegio, con todo lo que está pasando, hemos decidido del primer cuarto del año escolar de hacerlo completamente en línea, pero esto no va a afectar en ninguna manera la educación que van a recibir los estudiantes. Todos los maestros van a estar en entrenamiento por estas primeras 3 semanas para asegurar que puedan enseñar en línea sin fallar en lo que es la enseñanza.
And we want you to know that we've made the decision to do virtual learning because the safety of our students and our faculty and staff is our #1 priority. Everybody that is on the call this evening can talk through the logistics for each one of their areas. But please know that we are committed to having your child have the very best experience they possibly can at Cristo Rey.
Esta decisión fue tomada porque lo primero, lo más importante es la salud y la seguridad de todos los estudiantes y los maestros y los empleados, pero que vamos a asegurarnos que este año y esta parte del año escolar sea bien una buena experiencia.
Right. So welcome, and I'm going to turn this over to the principal, Mr. Tony Harris.
Good evening. I also welcome you officially to the Cristo Rey Atlanta family. I know several of you might not have been on the first Zoom call back in early June. So in addition to my welcome, let me just offer a little of information about me. I come to Cristo Rey Atlanta from another Jesuit high school in Chicago. I worked there for the last 18 years and have been in education since 1990. I've been in Atlanta for only a month, so I'm still very new to the city and to the school. As I told the parents in June, your children and I will be starting this journey together. I'm happy to be here and eager to begin the school year. So let's talk about that, the start of the school year. 2 days ago, we announced we will be starting this school year using virtual instruction. We had been planning to start with a different model, but the COVID environment in Atlanta has not improved sufficiently to warrant beginning the year in our building. We believe it's safest for all members of the community to start this way. As freshman families, this means you will also start Freshman Academy in the virtual environment. Mr. David Lachey will speak more about that a little later, but I can give you a brief overview now. Your freshmen will receive a laptop from CRAJ the week of August 3rd. They will use that laptop to connect with instruction. Each day, they will work with corporate work study from 8 until 10, and then work with our academic team for 2 sessions a day. There's also a lunch break, and the day will end around 1 p.m. That will be their schedule Monday through Friday. And on the following Monday, August 17th, we will begin classes. Now, it's important to remember that Freshman Academy is a very important part of your child's start with us. He or she must be in every class every day. For the start of classes on August 17th, your child should be properly attired in a CRAJ polo shirt. Mr. O'Shea will let you know what will be allowed for Freshman Academy, and Mrs. Anna McQuilkin will be able to answer any questions about uniform. As I said, we will start the school year with virtual instruction. We'll do this for the first quarter of the year. That's from August 17th to October 9th. We'll be monitoring the situation and will, of course, let everyone know if we'll be back in the building or if we will extend virtual instruction. Since no one will be allowed to gather in groups, we have also suspended our fall sports programs through the first quarter. In a moment, I'll turn it over to Dr. Marcia Pecco, our Dean of Students. Y ahora voy a tratar en español. Buenas noches. Pido disculpas de antemano si mi español es un poco elemental o básico. Todavía estoy aprendiendo. Bueno, para empezar. También les doy la bienvenida oficialmente a la familia Cristo Rey Atlanta. Sé que algunos de ustedes no podrían haber estado en la primera llamada de Zoom a principios de junio. Así que además de mi bienvenida, permítanme ofrecerles un poco de información sobre de mí. Vengo a Cristo Rey desde otra escuela secundaria jesuita en Chicago. Trabajé allí durante los últimos 28 años y he estado en educación desde 1990. Llevo en Atlanta solo un mes, por lo que todavía soy muy nuevo en la ciudad y en la escuela. Como les dije a los padres en junio, sus hijos y yo comenzaremos este viaje juntos. Estoy feliz de estar aquí y ansioso para comenzar en este año escolar. Entonces, hablemos de eso, el inicio del año escolar. Hace 2 días anunciamos que comenzaremos este año escolar usando instrucción virtual. Habíamos planeado comenzar con un modelo diferente, pero el entorno COVID en Atlanta no ha mejorado suficientemente para garantizar el comienzo del año en nuestro edificio. Creemos que es más seguro para todos los miembros de la comunidad comenzar en esta manera. Como familias del primer año, esto significa que también comenzará Freshman Academy en el entorno virtual. El señor David O'Shea hablará más sobre eso un poco más tarde, pero ahora puedo darle una breve descripción. Sus estudiantes de primer año recibirán una computadora portátil de CRAJ la semana de 3 de agosto. Usarán estas computadoras para conectarse con la instrucción y cada día trabajarán con Corporate Work Study del 8 hasta al 10 y luego trabajarán con nuestro equipo académico durante 2 sesiones al día. También hay un descanso para almorzar. El día termina cerca de la 1. Ese será su horario de lunes a viernes. Y el lunes siguiente, el 16 de agosto, comenzaremos las clases. Es importante recordar que Freshman Academy es muy importante para el comienzo de su hijo con nosotros. Él o ella debe estar en todas las clases, todos los días. Para el comienzo de las clases, el 17 de agosto, su hijo debe vestirse con una camisa Polo CRAJ. el señor Roche le hará saber lo que se permitirá para Freshman Academy y la señora Anna McQuilkin puede hablar con esto de el uniforme. Como dije, comenzaremos el año escolar con instrucción virtual. Haremos esto durante el primer trimestre del año escolar, del 17 de agosto al 9 de octubre. Estaremos monitoreando la situación y, por supuesto, haremos saber a todos si volveremos al edificio o si continuamos la instrucción virtual. Como a nadie se le permitirá reunirse en grupos, también hemos suspendido nuestros programas deportivos de otoño durante el primer trimestre. Y ahora lo entregaré a la doctora Marcia Pecco, nuestra decana de estudiantes. Dr. Pecco.
Hi, everyone. If you didn't meet me last time, I'm your Dean of Students, Dr. Marcia Pecco. As Dean of Students, I will be your liaison with discipline, school culture, and classroom expectations as a student. Anna, do you want to?
Yeah. Esa es la señora doctora Marcia Pecco. Ella es la directora de estudiantes. Ella es la persona que estará a cargo de la disciplina, de la cultura del colegio y diferentes cosas así en ayudar a los estudiantes a crecer en nuestro colegio.
One of my goals this year is to have deeper conversations with students about school discipline and school culture.
Una de las prioridades de ella es tener muchas más conversaciones sobre la disciplina y la cultura del colegio con cada estudiante.
This year, we have a discipline program that focuses more on positive student behaviors that I'm excited to introduce to you all.
Este año tenemos un programa de disciplina nuevo que se enfoca más en las acciones positivas de los estudiantes y está ella muy orgullosa de tratar este programa este año.
And you'll have an opportunity to go through the student handbook with me during Freshman Academy. And I hope that I'm able to connect with each one of you individually during this school year.
Que durante el Freshman Academy van a tener la oportunidad de leer el handbook de los estudiantes y los padres con la doctora Pecco y que ella espera durante el año poder tener conversación con cada cual individual.
David?
Thank you. Good evening. On behalf of the Corporate Work Study Department, I'd like to say how excited we are about the class of 2024 and how much we're looking forward to placing them in their first job placement with one of our corporate partners.
Bienvenidos. El Departamento de Trabajo está muy orgulloso de conocer a todos los niños y de la clase 2024 y de poder asignarle sus primeros trabajos en las corporaciones.
On Monday of next week, Corporate Work Study will be sending out an email packet that will have all of the guidelines for Corporate Work Study this year. But this evening, I want to take an opportunity to just highlight some of the key points.
La semana que viene, todos los estudiantes del 9º grado van a recibir un paquete que tiene toda la información de Corporate Work Study, que tienen que, cómo funciona, papeles que tienen que llenar y cosas así, pero él le va a dar unos cuantos detalles ahora.
As Principal Harris already mentioned, Corporate Work Study will take up the first 2 periods of the Freshman Academy schedule. And this schedule will be sent out as part of the package that I previously mentioned. The requirements for virtual classes for Corporate Work Study will be no different from any other academic class. The expectations will be the same, the uniform will be the same, which is the Cristo Rey polo shirt, and students will be expected to follow the same guidelines as they would in any other academic class.
So, el Freshman Academy para los estudiantes tienen que ponerse igualito, el polo de azul del uniforme cuando estén atendiendo las clases. Tienen que atender las clases igualitos, son los primeros 2 sesiones cada día. Y la tendencia es tan importante como la parte académica. Y lo que ellos esperan de los estudiantes es igual que la académica.
With Freshman Academy, traditionally Freshman Academy is 2 weeks rather than 1. So the 1 week is condensed. And there have been several questions from parents concerned about whether the freshmen will receive all of the material that they need for work. And the answer is yes. They will get everything that they need to be prepared to go out to work. Some of our material may be pushed into August in our Business Training Institute. But what we have done in the Freshman Academy schedule is condensed it and picked the most important parts of our curriculum to ensure that the freshmen are fully prepared to go to work when the time comes.
Que una de las cosas que padres a lo mejor pueden estar preocupados es que como el Freshman Academy normalmente son 2 semanas, ellos están asegurando que todos los estudiantes van a estar preparados. Han condensado lo que enseñaban en las 2 semanas en 1 semana, y también parte de eso va a también estar enseñado en agosto cuando hacen el Business Training Institute, que es durante el año escolar normal, pero que todos los niños van a estar preparados para ir a trabajo cuando le toque ir a trabajar.
In order for the students to be prepared for Freshman Academy, they need their laptop and they need a binder, which we have put together for Freshman Academy. Again, as previously mentioned, we will be providing a drive-through pickup at school on August the 5th. And the times for this, again, will be sent out via email. During this time, you will receive your laptop. You will receive a Freshman Academy binder, which will have all of the lesson plans and all of the necessary material for Freshman Academy. And we will also be using this time to collect all of the documents that we need for I-9s, allowing students to work. Again, further information will be sent out about this. We'll send you fillable forms that you can complete. So all you need to do is bring in the necessary documents and the paperwork and give it to us when you pick up the laptop. Again, we'll provide further information about that in the email that goes out on Monday.
Okay, el lunes ellos van a mandar un correo electrónico con las instrucciones de cuando vengan a recoger las computadoras el 5 de agosto. Las horas van a estar, el horario de recoger y eso van a estar ahí en el correo electrónico que van a recibir. También ese día, además de la computadora, van a recibir un folder que tiene todas las lecciones del Freshman Academy, y también va a haber información y papeles para llenar para el I-9, que es lo del permiso de trabajo. Y todo eso lo van a recibir en correo electrónico el lunes. Así que chequen su correo electrónico para que llenen todos esos papeles, traigan los documentos necesarios y sepan el horario que le toque para venir a recoger la computadora y el binder que tiene toda la información de Freshman Academy.
Regarding the work piece, so students going out to work, given the recent change for the first 8 weeks of school being virtual, we've decided to delay the start date of corporate work study.
So, con todo lo que está pasando con el COVID, hemos decidido de atrasar el empezar de ir a trabajar. So, los estudiantes no van a ir al trabajo hasta que ya terminemos la parte virtual.
Typically, students would go out to work at the day after Labor Day in September, but we've delayed it to October the 13th.
So, normalmente si ellos fueran a trabajar el martes después de Labor Day, que es en principios de septiembre, pero con todo esto ellos van a empezar a trabajar el 13 de octubre si no hay ningún cambio.
This was a result of discussions with academics, with the corporate work study department, and our corporate partners. And we feel that with this decision, students will be in a better position to work in October than they would be in September.
Esa decisión fue tomada con Corporate Work Study, el departamento de académico, las corporaciones, y esa decisión ha sido con todo el mundo junto, que es lo que ellos piensan que es mejor para todos los estudiantes, y todos van a estar ya más preparados para ese tiempo.
Obviously, no one really knows what October is going to look like, but we will be prepared for students to work in one of three ways. The first one being that students will go out to their office and work like they typically would.
So, cuando empiece en octubre no se sabe cómo va a estar la cosa, pero lo que estamos planeando es que hayan tres opciones de cómo los niños vayan a ir a trabajar. El primero es que van a trabajar a la compañía, van al edificio donde está la compañía.
The second option, presuming that we are back in school, would be that students would either work at work or they would work remotely from the school building.
La segunda opción, si estamos ya otra vez en el edificio, es que los estudiantes o puedan ir a trabajar en el edificio donde está la compañía o pueden trabajar desde el colegio virtualmente con la compañía.
And the third option, in the event that we had to remain 100% virtual, students, through communication with corporate work study partners and supervisors, would work virtually from home.
Y la tercera opción es que trabajaran virtualmente desde la casa si todavía no podemos estar en el edificio.
Either way, whichever option we go with, corporate work study will begin on October the 13th, and we are confident that we can put forward as good a program as we always have, and that the class of 2024 will get a great corporate work study experience.
No importa cómo sea la opción que nos toque para ir a trabajar, todos los niños van a empezar a trabajar en octubre 13 en una de esas tres opciones, y que vamos a tratar que la experiencia sea una experiencia buena con la situación que tenemos.
Thank you.
Christy, do you want to speak anything about tuition contracts?
So, yeah. Hi, everyone. Welcome. So all of your contracts should have been uploaded into the fax system, and the payment plans that you agreed to at the beginning have been inputted in. Payments will begin being due on August 17th. That is still not changing. But we would say that if you ever have any concerns or needs, or if something has changed with your situation, please feel free to reach out to the finance office. We are not mean bill collectors, but we're just here to help and support you.
Bienvenidos. Christy Deutz es la persona de finanzas. Ella dice que ya todos los documentos, los contratos de finanzas de ustedes están ya en fax, igualito que las opciones que escogieron para hacer los pagos ya están puestos en fax. Agosto 17 es cuando está due el primer pago. Ella lo que quiere es que ustedes sepan también es que si hay algún cambio o necesitan algo, que no tengan, siempre comuniquen con el Departamento de Finanzas para que ellos los puedan ayudar en cualquier forma. Pero los pagos sí van a empezar como estaban planeados en agosto 17. So, eso es todo. That's it.
Okay, we've had a lot of questions come in, and we are now going to try to answer those questions. Many of them, surprisingly, I was able to answer in the chat, but we do have some, and I have put them for our panelists. If you would just look in the chat, for those questions I was not able to answer, I posted them in the chat. And we have one parent that had raised her hand, and I had indicated I would give her an opportunity to speak. So as you all are reviewing those questions, I will go over and find Ms. Gardner and allow her an opportunity to speak. Ms. Gardner, if you would unmute.
Yes, hi. Now, I don't have my question before me that I submitted to you, but, and I am in the process of making it home. If you can answer the others, I should be there in a few minutes and I can answer them.
Okay, we have those questions. So, I will make sure that they are addressed, okay?
Great, thank you.
All right. Let me go. Just give me a minute. I'm trying to mute her.
All right.
Okay. Okay, and then I'll, let's see. Okay. All right, so in the chat, we have questions.
And I can take the first question there.
Okay, go ahead. And if you all want to just pick your question and then answer it, feel free to do so.
So the first question there, my child does not do well with virtual learning. What kind of support will be available? We know that it's difficult for freshmen even making the transition into high school. It's a challenge. So your student will have a guidance counselor. There are individuals here with some training to assist, but the very first level of assistance comes from the teacher. And in the next 3 weeks, our teachers will be getting intense training with regard to how to deliver virtual instruction. I'm going to try to translate this for you. Ms. McQuilkin, I might need some assistance.
Thank you,
La pregunta era, mi estudiante no trabaja bien en con instrucción virtual. Entonces, tenemos adultos aquí que pueden trabajar con sus estudiantes, pero el primer persona es la profesora o el profesor. Y para 3 semanas, nuestros profesores van a trabajar para ayudar a sus estudiantes. Es difícil, yo sé, es difícil, pero voy a trabajar y hacer lo más que podemos para ayudar a sus estudiantes.
Okay, so the next question, Tony, also, could you take that? They wanted you to repeat this. You had given some information on the class schedule.
Yes, so the class schedule, this is during Freshman Academy. The class schedule, the day begins at 8, and the first 2 periods are with corporate work study. and it goes from 8 until 10. They're 50-minute periods. And then there is a third academic period. And then there's a lunch period. And finally, the final academic. So it'll go from 8 until about 1. From 8 in the morning until about 1. And that's going to be each day for the 5 days of Freshman Academy. So la pregunta era la horario de Freshman Academy por la semana. Cada día trabajarán los estudiantes con Corporate Work Study hasta el 8 de la mañana hasta el 10 al 10. Y luego trabajarán con nuestro equipo de académico durante 2 sesiones al día. Hay un descanso para almorzar y el día termina cerca de la 1.
There will be a copy of the corporate works. There'll be a copy of the Freshman Academy schedule that goes out in the corporate work study packet to be emailed on Monday.
El horario de Freshman Academy va a estar en el paquete que se va a mandar por correo electrónico el lunes. Así que asegúrense que lean toda la información que va en ese paquete. The next question is, when should we purchase school uniforms, such as the embroidered blazer and polo shirts? The students are going to go to work starting October 13th. So if they physically go to work, they're going to need that for then. If you're talking about the long sleeve polo shirts, that's for the work uniform until we go into the winter uniform, which is usually after Columbus Day weekend. So I'm not sure if that's changing this year. Corporate work study somebody will have to let me know on that. But the blue polo shirt, the short sleeve polo shirt will be worn during your virtual classes, including Freshman Academy. So if you haven't gotten that, you need to get that as soon as possible. La pregunta era si cuándo tenemos que comprar los uniformes, como el blazer y el polo shirt, la camisa polo. La camisa, el pullover azul polo de mangas cortas, eso lo tienen que tener ya, porque ellos se lo tienen que poner cuando estén en las clases virtual, incluyendo el Freshman Academy. So, si no han comprado eso, cómprenlo ya, por favor. El blazer y la camisa de mangas largas blanca no se van a necesitar hasta octubre. So, tienen un poquitico de más tiempo con eso. Normalmente, octubre 13, empezáramos con el uniforme de invierno, que incluye la camisa de mangas largas, la corbata y el blazer, pero no sé si eso va a seguir igual o no este año.
Okay, Dr. Pecco, there are some questions. Is there a separate PE uniform?
No, and right now there won't be a PE class that's going to be in person, so there's not a separate physical education uniform.
Anna, will you translate?
Para educación física no tenemos un uniforme especial y como mientras que estemos virtual no va a haber clase de educación física, pues en estos momentos no necesitan nada.
Okay.
Wants to tackle supply list.
Okay, David, a couple of questions related to corporate work study. How will we go to work? Do we just get dropped off there by our parents? And is there a way to get the binder and laptop at a later date?
Yeah, so taking the first question about how you get to work, it really varies on the job. So there are a number of different transportation methods to get to work. But this is what the corporate work study piece of Freshman Academy is really about. During Freshman Academy, we will go through the logistics of corporate work study to make sure that everybody knows exactly where they're going and how they get there.
Que la transportación para el trabajo, todo depende de en qué compañía están trabajando los estudiantes. Hay diferentes formas de transportación para los trabajos. Eso es algo que se va a explicar durante la Freshman Academy para que todos los estudiantes sepan todas las diferentes formas de cómo van a ir al trabajo, y cuando ellos empiecen a trabajar, cuando sepan a dónde van a ir a trabajar, van a saber cómo van a ir a ese trabajo.
The second question there about the laptop and the binder on a later date. Yes, this is an option. We would prefer everybody to come on August the 5th if possible, but if you can't make that, then we will be making some other dates available, but they're still to be determined.
La otra pregunta era que si uno no podía ir el 5 de agosto a recoger la computadora y el binder, que si se podía recoger en otra fecha. Vamos a tener otra opción, todavía no sabemos cuál va a ser. Preferemos que todo el mundo venga ese día, pero claro, si hay una inconveniencia que no pueden venir ese día, nosotros vamos a tener otra opción que le dejaremos saber cuando ya sepamos cuál la opción va a ser.
Okay, Mr. Harris, there are several questions regarding, and I'm not sure the relevancy with virtual, but several questions about how many students are usually in one class, and should students wear masks at school?
Okay, so in the virtual environment, there are about 30 students per class, a maximum of 30 students per class. When we are able to come back with a split schedule, and Ms. McCook, I'm gonna need your help with that one. With a split schedule, there will be 15 students at the school and 15 students at home. The students in the building will be wearing masks, yes.
You want me to say that?
If you would.
Okay. La pregunta era que si cuántos estudiantes iban a estar en la clase y si tenían que usar máscara. Cuando estemos en las sesiones pura virtual, van a haber como 30 estudiantes en cada sesión, pero cuando volvemos al edificio, si tenemos la opción que parte va a ser en el colegio y parte va a ser virtual, entonces cada día va a haber 15 en la clase y 15 virtualmente.
And as for the supply list, I'm not aware of there being a supply list. Teachers will let students know what they need for their classes. Sus profesores van a hablar con sus estudiantes y darles listas para sus clases de supplies.
Regarding a supply list for the corporate work study classes for Freshman Academy, the Freshman Academy binder will be everything that the student needs.
Can you repeat that again? Sorry.
Yeah, regarding the corporate work study piece of Freshman Academy, the Freshman Academy binder that we provide is everything that the student needs.
Oh, que en el binder que ellos van a darle cuando recojan la computadora, ahí le va a decir todo lo que van a necesitar para Freshman Academy.
For the math placement question, to my knowledge, that placement test has generally been given in the academic section of Freshman Academy. Am I right about that?
In the past, we have done it but because of virtual, Mr. Harris agreed that they were going to academics would administer it during Freshman Academy.
So the academic team then during the Freshman Academy Week will give the math placement exam.
El
Los estudiantes que necesitan tomar el examen de matemáticas van a tomarle durante la semana de Freshman Academy.
I think 2 or 3 people had a question about the freshman ties. They will be available at the school, and we will send out communication about the process of getting the ties. But no, you will not get those from Flynn O'Hara, but we will send out communication about how to get the freshman ties.
Okay, Mr. Harris, I know it feels like I'm just staying on you, but I'm trying to get all of the academics grouped together. The questions are, when will we receive an academic schedule for virtual learning? Not talking about Freshman Academy. Will there be a study hall? How will the teachers manage with 30 students online? That's kind of a lot.
The first part of that was here.
Will they receive an academic schedule for
Here we
virtual learning for regular class, not just for Freshman Academy?
So those are being finalized. The final schedules will be coming out. They may even receive those during the week of Freshman Academy. The hope is that when you see the schedule for the school year for virtual learning, you'll see how it fits with their regular schedule. So the answer to your question is that we hope to get those out during the week of Freshman Academy at the very latest.
Okay. Then there was a question, will there be a study hall?
There is not study hall. In the virtual learning segment, the classes go from 9 until about 2. So there's time there. All of that time is class time or lunchtime. And students will be doing their work while they're at home in the virtual segment. They'll be doing their work either in that early morning period or for homework later.
Okay. Let me just make sure I've sort of gotten.
Powers, he needs to translate that.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry.
So, la pregunta era, primera pregunta era, ¿cuándo reciben los estudiantes sus horarios para el año de colegio? Espero que los estudiantes van a recibir sus horarios durante la semana de Freshman Academy. Y la otra pregunta era, the second part of that question. I'm losing it here, losing the string. The second part of the question, because I don't have it here. Oh, the study hall.
The study hall.
La segunda parte era si hay un study hall o no. Y no hay un study hall porque el día empieza a las 9 de la mañana y termina a las 2. Y los estudiantes pueden estudiar antes de las 9 y después de las 2.
Mr. Harris, I won't say final, but the last one in this group for you. Are there any textbooks that the students need to pick up from the school?
Not to my knowledge, no. All textbooks are virtual. They will be on the computer, if any. Esa pregunta era, ¿hay libros para escuela para comprar? Y no hay, no.
Okay. All right, Ms. Naughton, you've had a great break. So there's a couple of questions here that I think you would probably want to address. The first one says, well, wait a minute, let me make sure. I just missed it. How will Cristo Rey continue to fight racial injustice?
So this is a topic of great importance to us for the coming year. And so we're very pleased to let all of our parents know that we have signed a 3-year contract with the Center for Civil and Human Rights, who is going to be working very closely, training our faculty, staff, our students. There'll be optional training for parents and for corporate partners.
La pregunta era que cómo el colegio iba a continuar de con las injusticias raciales y hemos hecho un contrato de 3 años con el Centro de Human and Civil. Is that what it is?
Yeah, it's fine.
El Centro de Civil y Humano para entrenamiento para los maestros, estudiantes, y van a haber también entrenamientos opcionales para los padres para seguir informándonos y tratando de ser un colegio que tenga justicia y que trate a todos los estudiantes con justicia.
Additionally, the faculty and staff are starting a book club this year, and the first book we are reading is Culturally Responsive Teaching and the Brain, and so we will be working that into the curriculum.
Que también todos los maestros y los empleados este año vamos a tener lo que es un club de leer. Vamos a leer diferentes libros que tienen que ver con este tópico, y el primero se llama, no sé traducirlo, pero es Culturally Responsive Teaching and the Brain. So tiene que ver cómo responder a las diferentes culturas y enseñar en esas diferentes culturas.
Someone asked if the teacher would be able to see the student during online classes. And yes, the teacher will. We believe it's important for everyone to be present and seen. And if you see the background behind me, we're hoping to get 2 students a background that they can use so that it's the same for everyone. Hay una pregunta de una persona que pide si la maestra puede ver los estudiantes o no. Y sí, pueden ver. Es importante que todos ven todos.
Okay, Ms. Naughton, also there was a question. How can parents sign up for the Racial Injustice Program? And then the question was, does Cristo Rey follow Atlanta Public School guidelines?
Okay, the first question, the parent sessions have not been set up yet. So we signed our contract with the Center for Civil and Human Rights about 3 weeks ago. So we're starting next week with the faculty and staff, and the parent training options will come later, but they will be this year.
La pregunta fue que cómo los padres pueden registrarse para las sesiones para los padres de las injusticias raciales, y en este momento no tenemos fechas. Acabamos de firmar el contrato hace 3 semanas solamente. La semana que viene empezamos con los empleados y los maestros, el entrenamiento. Y cuando sepamos ya cuándo van a ser las sesiones y eso, le mandaremos toda esa información a todos los padres para que tengan la oportunidad de registrarse para esas sesiones.
Ms. Powers, I don't remember the second question.
Do we follow Atlanta Public School guidelines?
So the answer is, if it's a snow day, yes. But we are an independent school, so we can make our own decisions on lots of things, but we do look for guidance from the counties and the city public school system.
La pregunta era si nosotros seguíamos las guías del sistema público de Atlanta, de los colegios públicos de Atlanta. Para ciertas cosas sí, como si los colegios van a estar cerrados por nieve o hielo o algo así, sí usamos las mismas guías, las mismas opciones, lo que ellos dicen. Pero somos un colegio independiente, son que miramos a muchas de las cosas que la comunidad está poniendo como guías. Nosotros últimamente hacemos las decisiones de nosotros, pero sí tomamos en cuenta lo que ellos están haciendo, diciendo.
Dr. Pecco, this may be for you. It says, could students still participate in clubs and extracurricular activities virtually?
Yeah, so clubs and activities, communication about what that process is will be sent out by the Director of Athletics and Student Activities at a later date. But what that protocol is not in place yet. Academics is, but that is coming. It's soon to come. So yes, there will be virtual extracurricular activities. But Anna, after you translate that, I want to make a comment about the sports because there's a sports question.
Okay. La pregunta era que si durante el tiempo que estamos haciendo instrucción virtual, si van a tener oportunidad de atender los clubs o actividades después del colegio. Y si vamos a hacerlo virtual también. Eso todavía no está exactamente como el plan, cómo va a ser todavía. Lo primero que estábamos haciendo eran los planes académicos, pero pronto saldrá la información sobre eso para que todos los estudiantes tengan la oportunidad si quieren estar envueltos en algún club del colegio.
I want to make it very clear to parents that under no circumstances are sports taking place right now on the school campus. There are no outside activities right now, especially during this first 8 weeks of school until things are reevaluated. So there's no soccer, there is no volleyball, there is no basketball, there is no weight room. The gym is not open to anyone right now.
Que ella quería que los padres y los estudiantes supieran que mientras que estamos completamente virtual esta primera 8 semanas del colegio, que no va a haber ningún deporte, ninguna actividad en el colegio. So, el gimnasio está cerrado, no va a haber ningún deporte ni de soccer, ni de básquetbol, ni de voleibol, nada, hasta después de las 8 semanas que podamos evaluar otra vez cómo están las cosas y hacer una decisión en ese momento.
So as soon as things are reevaluated, that communication will be sent directly to parents.
So, tan pronto que estén las cosas evaluadas otra vez, como a principios de octubre y eso, toda esa información será comunicada con todos los padres y las familias.
Anna, will you please let them know that even though there are no active sports at this time, the sports physical is still a requirement of enrollment.
Okay.
So that we have it on file when and if we resume sports.
Aunque no haya deportes en estos momentos, el examen, el Sports Physical, que yo le mandé a todos ustedes por correo electrónico, todavía se necesita para que enseguida que podamos volver al colegio, eso esté en el file para que ellos puedan participar en educación física y cualquier deporte que quisieran hacer.
Mr. O'Shea, there are a couple of questions, I think. It says, since their work study won't be in place in the first quarter, will students have academics 5 days per week? Also, who chooses their placement?
Okay. All right, so I'll take the first one about the fact that there is no corporate work study for the first quarter. Yes, it will be a 5-day academic week, but within the first 8 weeks, we have what we call BTI, Business Training Institute. So some of the classes within the first 8 weeks will be catered towards corporate work study.
La pregunta era que si, como no iban a trabajar las primeras 8 semanas de colegio, que si iban a de todas maneras tener entonces la escuela académica 5 días a la semana. Y la contesta es sí, todos los días de la semana van a tener escuela virtual, pero como no van a trabajar parte de esas sesiones, van a hacer lo que se llama Business Training Institute, que es en donde ellos enseñan muchas de las cosas que van a necesitar cuando empiecen a trabajar.
And then the second question about who chooses the placements. Is that right, Ms. Powers?
Yes.
Okay. So the student placements are chosen by the corporate work study department. There are 6 of us within that department.
La pregunta era que quién escoge el lugar en donde los estudiantes van a ir a trabajar, y la contesta es que el departamento de trabajo de Corporate Work Study, que son 6 personas, son los que hacen la determinación en dónde van a ir los niños.
During Freshman Academy and the Business Training Institute, freshmen will take a personality test. The results of that personality test will help us match them with our partners.
Durante Freshman Academy y Business Training Institute, todos los estudiantes van a tomar un examen de personalidad y diferentes cosas así que los ayudan a ellos a determinar cuál es el mejor lugar para su estudiante ir a trabajar.
Our students will also go to 4 different placements in the 4 years that they're at Cristo Rey.
Los estudiantes van a ir a 4 diferentes compañías entre los 4 años. Cada año van a ir a un lugar diferente para que tengan varias experiencias.
Throughout those 4 years, as we get to know the students, we can start to place them to match their skills and interests.
En esos 4 años, lo más que ellos van conociendo a los estudiantes y lo que van creciendo los estudiantes, entonces tienen más oportunidad de ponerlos en compañías que son más adecuadas a los intereses de cada estudiante.
Okay, for our attendees, we are preparing to wrap up with the last final questions. Once we finish, if you have any additional questions, please know that we will respond to them. You can forward them to our email address, admissions@CristoRayAtlanta.org, and we will make sure they are routed to the appropriate person. There will be a video recap of this presentation that will be sent out to each of you to review as we did last time.
One quick thing before we go is families, if you have not sent your final report card yet for the 8th grade, if you still have not submitted your final report card, please make sure you also scan it and email it to that admissions email as soon as possible. Padres, si todavía no han mandado las calificaciones de los grados finales de su estudiante, por favor, de mandarlo lo más pronto posible, escanearlo y mandarlo por correo electrónico al correo de admissions@cristoreyatlanta.org.
Okay, final questions. Ms. Joyce, there's a question. Can the payment that is due August 17th be paid online? Or can they leave a check at the school?
You can pay online via fax, or you can, if you drop off a payment at the school, please make sure it is only a check, and you would have to drop it in the mail slot. So whatever is more convenient for you, paying online, or you could mail it in or drop it in the mail slot at the front of the school. Because at this time, there is no one there that could write a receipt for you and receive your payment directly. And also, go ahead, Anna.
Que si podían hacer los pagos por en línea, y sí, pueden hacer los pagos con su fax account, la cuenta que hicieron para fax, pueden pagarlo en línea, o pueden ponerlo en un sobre y dejarlo en el mailbox del colegio. Pero en estos momentos no tenemos a nadie en el edificio que le puedan escribir recibos ni nada de eso. I have one more thing. If you're not receiving the parent newsletter, please make sure that you send a good email address to the admissions email. We, especially at this time, all of our communication is through email, so it is very important that we have good emails for the family, preferably more than one, so that we make sure somebody's reading it. So if you're not receiving the parent newsletter, please make sure that you send us a good email to that admissions email. Si ustedes no están recibiendo las comunicaciones para los padres por correo electrónico, por favor, asegúrense que nos manden un correo electrónico de ustedes, que sea un correo bueno, al correo electrónico de nosotros de admisiones, porque toda la comunicación está yendo en estos momentos por correo electrónico, así que es muy importante que tengamos un buen correo electrónico para que ustedes estén recibiendo toda la información necesaria, especialmente con todos los cambios que están pasando.
The last two questions for Mr. Harris. A question about the official start time for the school day, and also a school calendar.
Okay, so someone asked if the regular school day will begin at 8, and it doesn't. It begins at 9. It goes from 9 until about 2. Alguien pide a qué hora empiezan las clases durante el año regular, y el día empieza a las 9. And the second question was about a school calendar.
I can answer that.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, there's a school calendar on the website. It has, a lot of it has changed. And so, please keep checking back on that. It has all the school holidays and things like that right now, but it has the first day of school and freshman academy, but that's all that's on there right now. So we've had to take some things off. It will fill back up. Anna?
I was reading some stuff there. Sorry, did you?
I will repeat that. So we have a school calendar was the question, and it's on the website. And so if they want to check there, it only has school holidays right now in the start of school because we've had to take things off, but it will begin to fill up, and have the parents should check that regularly.
Okay, que si la pregunta era si había un calendario escolar. y sí está en el website del colegio, pero en este momento no tiene mucha información, nada más que tiene días de holiday y el empezar del colegio y cosas así, pero poco a poco se va a empezar a llenar, así que por favor siempre vayan al website para poder ver la información, todo va a estar ahí del colegio.
So, Ms. Naughton, there's a final question that either you or Mr. Harris can address. And then if you have any closing remarks you would like to make, Ms. Naughton, please do, and then I will close us out.
Okay.
And that is regarding, are there mental health workshops for students?
Yes, we have a social worker and a counselor, both that are full-time staff members. And so even when the students are working remotely, they will get checks, they'll get emails from the social worker checking on them. And we will be instituting advisory for the coming year, which will be a time for your student every week to be in a group with an adult checking on to see how they're doing.
La pregunta era que si había procesos o para los estudiantes para la salud mental. Y sí, tenemos una social worker y una consejera que trabajan, son full time el día entero, que están en comunicación constantemente con los estudiantes y aunque estén virtual en estos momentos, van a estar recibiendo correos electrónicos de ellos para chequear cómo están. Y también vamos a tener lo que se llama advisory. So, va a haber un grupo de estudiantes que van a tener un adulto que van a estar en constante comunicación con ellos. Y ese adulto también va a estar chequeando con los estudiantes, asegurar que todo esté bien.
Okay, Mr. Harris, did you want to add anything to that or was?
Nope, that was it.
Okay. All right, Ms. Naughton?
The only question I saw come by that I didn't see answered was I think it was a student maybe that asked about lunch on the days that you go to work. So we do provide that for students. That is when you do go to work, we will do that and it will be a sack lunch and you make it in the morning yourself and you take it with you.
Que una de las preguntas que no se habían contestado era que cómo los niños almuerzan cuando van a trabajar y cuando ellos vienen al colegio por la mañana, cuando ya estemos en esa rutina, ellos hacen, tenemos unas bolsas que ellos llenan, ellos le ponen su comida ahí y se la llevan con ellos al trabajo.
And thank you. And so with that, we just want to thank all of you for being on the call tonight, for being invested in your students' education. We are looking forward to being partners with you as they begin this wonderful chapter of their lives.
Gracias por estar aquí en esta sesión con nosotros. Estamos muy encantados como están respondiendo ustedes y estamos mirando, I don't know. Tony, help me.
I missed the tail end of you, Ms. Naughton. The
That's
tail end
okay.
of the statement.
So I just said welcome. And also I want to finish with we hope that everybody, as they partner with us, is patient as we together figure out a new world that none of us have ever experienced before. So our decisions are made with your child's best interests at heart, but please keep us in your prayers and we will make it through this together.
Okay. You want that one, Tony?
Necesitamos paciencia para este tiempo. Es muy importante. Nadie sabe lo que va a pasar, pero queremos hacer lo mejor para sus estudiantes y para nuestros maestras y gracias.
Okay, Miss Gardner has apparently made it home, and she was the one parent that did ask to allow to talk, and she has her hand up, so I'm going to allow her before we close out. So, Miss Gardner.
Yes, I have made it home. Thank you. I wanted to ask, I was so hopeful about the hybrid plan that had been put out initially. What about the plan that was so thoughtfully laid out makes it untenable now to go forward? And are we really anticipating that in October, kind of with the start of flu season and everything, we will be able to get back in the building? Or are we anticipating really that we'll just be virtual for this whole first semester?
So, Ms. McQuilkin, I will need your assistance on this one.
Okay.
Essentially, there were a number of factors that went into the decision. It was and thank you, we spent a good amount of time on the hybrid model. What makes it untenable is the current environment. I'll let you jump in there, Ms. McQuilkin.
Okay, que la pregunta era que después de tanto que habíamos hecho el plan que era parte de la semana iban a estar en el colegio, parte iban a estar en la casa, que qué fue lo que pasó, que eso ya no se puede usar, que por qué hemos hecho el cambio. Y la razón es por la situación, los casos que están constantemente subiendo. Nosotros lo que queremos es lo mejor para los estudiantes y los empleados del colegio. En estos momentos no pensábamos que podíamos hacer eso con ese programa de medio, casi medio en la escuela.
And so we spent the most time on the most unfamiliar model, the hybrid model. We're hopeful that we can get back to it. Unfortunately, no one knows what October will bring, but we're just trying to be safe.
Que nosotros hemos puesto mucho tiempo en ese programa de hybrid, que es parte y parte. Esperamos que podamos volver a ese tipo de enseñanza en octubre, pero uno de verdad no sabe. Todo depende de cómo estén los casos y cómo estén las cosas en octubre. Pero la esperanza de nosotros es que sí, que en octubre podamos empezar ese tipo de enseñanza que sea parte en la casa y parte en el colegio.
Ms. Gardner?
Yes, I'm here. Okay. All right. I understand the safety. Like I said, it was such a thoughtful model with the distancing and the mask and everything. I was very hopeful. It seemed the building plan, the separating of the classes. So I would be less than honest to say I wasn't disappointed, but I didn't know if there was a building constraint or something. If the numbers go down, do you feel that makes it more tenable? I mean, trying to figure out how do we get back to that model or something more normalized.
Yeah, I think that you hit the nail on the head. It's about the numbers going down, or at least stabilizing, but absolutely improving before we would bring 300 or so students plus adult people back into the building to implement that model. I'm looking forward to seeing students.
Right. I understand. And I guess one last question I didn't hear. Will the students receive grades during this period, or will it be more of a sort of an extended orientation for these 8 weeks, or how will that flow?
No, ma'am, the students will receive grades.
Mm-hmm.
And that will be spelled out very clearly with the syllabus that your child will receive from their teacher. But the benefit there is that it is a shorter day. They're taking fewer classes during the day, so they'll be able to handle a little bit better.
La pregunta era que si los estudiantes iban a recibir grados durante estas primeras 8 semanas, y sí, van a recibir los grados igual que si estuvieran en el colegio. Van a tener 3 clases, creo que cada día, que estén, 2 días tienen ciertos periodos y el otro día tienen otros. El día va a ser más corto, van a tener más tiempo para poder hacer las tareas y cosas. Pero todo esa información la van a recibir cuando tengan el schedule de las maestras, y cada maestra recomienda a los estudiantes como lo que sea de hacer el año y cuáles son lo que están esperando de los estudiantes y cómo van a ser los grados y cosas así.
And can I add to that, Ms. Gardner, your child will be actually getting live instruction the whole time. They'll be in class with a teacher who's teaching them live. It's very much like school. It's just not going to be school where they're in the same room.
All right. All right. All right.
Lo que estaba diciendo, Ms. Nan estaba diciendo es que los estudiantes, cuando estén recibiendo las instrucciones virtuales, van a estar en una clase con la maestra. La maestra va a estar enseñándole virtuales y ellos van a estar como si fueran una clase normal, que va a ser por la computadora. Pero van a tener a una maestra presente enseñándole.
All right.
Ms. Gardner, thank you so much for those thoughtful questions. We are now at 1.5 hours, so we're going to wrap up. Feel free, anyone on the call, to submit more questions. And the other thing that I wanted to share before we close out, first of all, thank each one of you for joining us tonight. But also, I want to remind you that we have a parent newsletter that goes out that includes a lot of what we have talked about tonight. It is sent out on a weekly basis. If you are not getting that newsletter, please let us know. First of all, you may want to check your spam and accept it as a safe sender, because it is sent via constant contact. And sometimes emails will move that over to spam until you flag it as a safe sender. So please do that, because all of this information on everything from school schedule to uniforms to discipline to the virtual adjustments, all of that is covered in our newsletters. And I believe one should be going out on tomorrow, or Monday. So you will be getting another update. So that is a critical way to stay connected. So make sure you are getting those emails. We have all of your emails, because if you're on this call tonight, you did get an email from us. So we want to thank you, and know that as everyone on this call is part of the administration at Cristo Rey, we value your support and we value your child, and all decisions that we make hold that in the front of all we do. And so we thank you, and everyone have a good night.
Good night.
I don't know if you should have translated that, Anna, but we're done.
Well, I already said that stuff earlier.
All right. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you. Can't wait to see you all.
Thanks, Esther.
You might be waiting for a while.
Thanks, guys. Bye.
You all take care.